Hi, welcome to my third and final video with regards to my machine being hacked. This video will show you a little bit about protecting yourself and your machine, and it will also give us a little bit of an insight onto the likes of O2 and Barclays and Action Fraud about how little they actually really care that your machine or your details have been sent out and around and people are using them to fraudulently take money out of your account. As you may have seen from the first video, O2 were only too willing to allow my phone to be barred, even though the person phoning up pretended to be me couldn't give my password. They do this because it saves them losing money if they have someone taking airtime that is not being paid for. They don't really care that you may lose money out of your bank account. All they're trying to do is protect themselves. Now that goes against data protection, and I've spoken to the relevant people, and O2 just don't seem to care and don't want to change. All you can do in retrospect is phone up O2, or if you use a separate mobile supplier like Vodafone or somebody, call them and let them know that they should only act on your behalf, or someone phone up on your behalf, if they give the password. If you don't tell them that information, they'll go on and do it regardless. So I urge you all to phone up your providers and let them know to only do anything on your account if the password is given. I hope just that simple thing will help you. I also spoke to Barclays to inform them that somebody was using one of their accounts in their Leicestershire branch. I gave them the sort code and the account number and also the account name to let them know that someone was using an account fraudulently. The person on the other end of the line couldn't care less. I asked to speak to their fraud department, and he told me I had to write a letter, of which I informed him that I wanted to speak to somebody there in the fraud department, and he would not put me through to anybody. I was quite shocked. I put the phone down on him and I spoke to another person through a different number. He was a Welsh guy. I spoke to him and he couldn't have been more helpful, but the initial guy didn't seem to care. I also was told through Action Fraud to speak to the Ombudsman, which I have done, and there's a case pending which I'm sorting out as well with regards to Barclays, because they also didn't seem to care. And finally, Action Fraud. Now these are the people that are supposed to be the police side of it all, to bring these fraudsters in and get them and the rest of it, and I've given them, I think, quite enough information, bank accounts, etc., to be able to do this. They were helpful initially when I first phoned them and spoke to them, but since then you cannot speak to anybody. You have to load information up online on an account that you're given, so once it's up there the first time around, you don't really get a chance to speak to anybody again, which again is quite frustrating. I've heard nothing in 2 months with regards to this, hence me doing these videos to help other people not get into this situation. But the other thing I did notice, I had another email come through, another phishing email come through that was supposed to have been from Action Fraud. I sent the email, done the header check as I showed you before. I sent the email off to Action Fraud, and I had an email back about 2 days later saying that they could not go through every email that's sent through. All seems rather ridiculous and pointless, to be honest. So again, the reason why these videos I'm doing them is to help you help yourself and protect yourself, which will be the next part that's just coming up. Right, so protection. How can you protect yourself and your computer? Now, some of these are quite basic and straightforward and common sense, but sometimes common sense prevails. First and foremost, the most obvious thing to do is don't fall for a phishing email like I did. Unfortunately, I tell this to people all the time, and I didn't do it myself, so I feel a bit stupid, but every cloud's got a silver lining. Hopefully this will help it stop happening, or at least stop a few more people getting caught out. So what you can do is, if you don't do it already, turn off your machine overnight. If you've got a computer, leave it on, just turn it off, shut it down, make sure it's turned off or unplugged from the network cable, or even just from your Wi-Fi network. Turn your router off overnight if it's not being used. Again, it will save a bit of electric as well. It also means people can't access your machine. It seems that mine was being uploaded overnight, sort of 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, which when people aren't on it. I was working some late nights, so that's why I knew the mega backup was up and running. So yeah, turn your router off overnight. Ensure that your firewall is turned on, as I showed you earlier. A simple thing to do. A lot of people do it already. If it's not turned on, please turn it on. And also ensure that your system software is up to date. Apple do quite a lot of regular updates on their machines. Don't know so much about PCs, but if the system software update comes up, update it. A lot of that is to do with hacks, etc., and security, so keep yourself up to date. Right, change your passwords regularly. This is a hard one because we all have a lot of things nowadays that need passwords, and trying to keep separate passwords becomes quite difficult. So we do, I presume, what I do, and that is to have them stored on your machine. And as this is proven, it's not the best thing to do. So what I do now is I've changed all my passwords and I keep them all written down on a good old piece of paper. So the only way these will get taken now is if someone takes them out of my pocket. Don't save them on your computer. It's just too easy if your machine does get hacked for it to be uploaded and the data taken off. And lastly, as I said to you before, instruct your phone supplier that if anybody phones up, nothing can be done unless your password is given. It seems crazy that you have to tell them to do this and they have to write a note on your account, but they won't do it otherwise. So yeah, give your phone supplier a call and just tell them do not do anything unless a password is given. I hope these videos have been helpful. I hope you don't have the same experience as I've had. It's put me back by about 6 weeks as I use my machine for work. I've had to reinstall everything, literally reformat it back to basic and start all over again. It's been a learning curve for me, and it's also made me realise that I take for granted what I do online with regards to having my daughter's name being used. It's amazing what information they can gather from you and what you do online. It's made me rethink about what I do online completely, and I'm going to start closing quite a few doors on this now and do things the old-fashioned way, even to the point I'm going to may well stop using online banking and go back into branch as and when I need to. So, as I say, be vigilant. Hope this has helped you out, and hope you found it informative and helpful. Cheers.